Bring on, sister. Bring me in. Bring me in. Yep.
Okay, you call me back though. You gotta call
My
Shotty.
fault. My fault. Let me get my
Okay,
coffee. All right, free them all. Free them all. Let me give you a shot of coffee. I'm moving to boy. Man. Yeah. Free them all. Sit. Free them all. Yeah. You can bring me in. Yep. And I'm gonna give you some coffee. Bring me in. I'm telling to play a song. I ain't ready to go right. Yeah. Yep. Oh my glasses. Spring, what up, sis? How you been? You been making good moves. Alicia Gill, free them all, y'all. Y'all feel free. Y'all get ready. Calling.
Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Let that play out, sis. Let that play out. Let that never play out. It's kind of staticky though. Let it play out. Let that play out, and then bring me in. I'm gonna give me a shot. Give me a quick cup of coffee, real quick. Let that play out.
Okay,
Bring 'em on. Like you get glass of water or just some instant coffee. Some instant coffee,
Yeah, that instant coffee is cool. Yep, that's fine. Yep. Oh, okay. I'll do the coffee. What's that KP up to? Huh? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, hey, when y'all were out there, did you stayed on the reservation? Like, did they have what the hotel there, or y'all stayed with like? Yeah. Wow. They still had the teepees and stuff on the land. Yeah. Oh wow. You know, I wanted to get a copy of the Final Call, because they did a piece on the Kanye West and the Jew.
Oh yeah,
situation.
yeah. Issue.
Kanye, yep. Thank you.
Excuse me, brother. I don't get no sugar, nothing.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep, that's cool.
Yeah, well,
It's hot though.
Okay, yeah. Oh, this is
Just
another
something
paper we was in too. On the,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I keep this?
Yeah,
in?
please.
Okay. And this is a Maywood paper, right?
Yep.
Local.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Y'all let everybody know we live and direct. We coming on here as soon as this free them all. Just please come on through. We got some special guests in the building. We're not in the house with the Hampton House, y'all. I'll be moving this around. We got in the studio today, but we at the Hampton House. We taking it back to old school. You know what I'm saying? If you come down to it, we use 2 tin cans of stream to get the word out, man. If y'all can, get ready to get locked and loaded for another episode. Get your coffee, whatever you do, your tea, whatever you do. I know it's been cool. Well, actually, they say cool. The weather's good. Swing, would you say, sis, you need Ubon virtually. Need you on. Okay, anytime, Sweet, you know no doubt about it. Heads up, eyes open, and fists clenched. Y'all know what this is and how we do this here, y'all. Let's get locked and loaded for another episode of Free 'em All Radio. We coming live this time from the historical stomping grounds, historical Hampton House, y'all. That's right, so y'all can't take a pause for the calls if you can. Open those front doors and back windows. Let them know once again it's on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Free 'em All Radio. You know what I'm saying? We if you got a curfew, you might not want to jump in with it, but you might jump in for the ride. If you set tripping, in other words, if you have some certain places that you can't go, you might want to hold fast and jumping in this ride with us, because we may pull up in Ghana, we may pull up in Mississippi, Alabama, Cook County Jail, wherever, you know what I'm saying? We are, man, in the spirit of internationalism, making history, taking history, and taping history. It's a weekly program of the Black Panther Party Cubs, a weekly program on the Hampton House, hosted by yours truly, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., Robin Allen, a.k.a. the Lady of Rage. Y'all know that number, 929-477-3785. Press 1. If you're in the Cook County Jail, y'all, let's make it happen. Let's get it in. If you're down, you know what I'm saying, down Angola, Louisiana, if you're down, you know what I'm saying, just in New Orleans, the 504 area, don't hesitate to call in. Got a few things we're going to be touching now and then, you know what I'm saying? Free 'em all, nephew, in the building. Cassandra Dennis Chapman in the building. Paris in the building. Free 'em all, you know what I'm saying? Let them know we are live and direct. Again, live and direct. Forgive me, I'm not on Instagram, so Paris, I might need you to help me out again with this move. I know how we do it last time. I think I wasn't on Facebook last time, but this time I'm not gonna be on Instagram because the other phone is, well, cut to the chase, technical difficulty, technical shortage. But we're gonna get straight at it. You know what I'm saying? The spirit of making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. Let's get locked and loaded. A lot of things is happening, man. This is a hell of a time. Hell of a time. A hell of a time. Lenin had assessed, Russian theoretician of the Russian Revolution, Lenin has said, what takes people 20 years to learn in ordinary times, they can learn in 2 years in revolutionary times. We assessed that we for all practical purpose, really be on the heels of some real reactionary times. But you see the conscious level being up every second. I mean, a million miles a minute. Leaps and bounds, the type of dialogue. We say, I mean, like reactionary, like just simply responsive, but revolutionary, a different revolutions. Malcolm X assessed a complete change. And we've seen revolutionary periods, you know what I'm saying, during the Black Power movement in the 60s. We've seen revolution throughout Africa. We've seen it throughout Vietnam, the Philippines. You've seen a different type of dynamic, a different type of media coverage, a different, you can look at the in places such as Cuba, and you know what I'm saying, and with transfer of power, with the, you know what I'm saying, how sports was viewed, how relationships were viewed, how the gun was viewed, and a complete change of it. You know what I'm saying? You can literally look at the tenure, who's in place, and say, wait a minute, it's a whole different dynamic with that. use such graphic examples in Vietnam, where you had prostitutes who were saying who were committed to take, they were taking American soldiers to bed and say, well, we commit, he won't get up in the morning. You had as Malcolm talked about in China, a different type of child on the front of the Time magazine. There was a child with I think it was a 45 to her father's to her father, and a biological father, and said he had betrayed the revolution. Different type of questions and contradictions. You've seen during the Black Power movement of the '60s. You've seen the enemy of the athletes. There was a different assessment of what an athlete was. So different politic to it. You've seen, such individuals, such forces, Muhammad Ali, formerly known as Cassius Clay. You know what I'm saying? That prior to this, different dynamics with the Joe Louis and so on and so forth, aka the Brown Bomber, when the ruling class would get us, would subjugate different individuals, say, okay, stay in your lane, your particular field. In other words, that's sports. Leave it at that. That's entertainment. Well, that's my job. That's my relationship, and never making that connection, the politics to it. And basically, again, politics is food, clothing, and shelter. You see even how people are viewing right now, present day, electoral politics. Sister who I got a lot of respect for, she had comments. She said, Chairman, I know you don't do politics. I said, no. On the contrary, I do politics. Everything is political. Words, terms, fashion. And I distinguish it from electoral politics. And there's certain states that we have to engage in that. Do we use it or does it use us? To be able, sports, it's a different, comedians, so you had a different dynamic. So you look at the climate of Richard Pryor. You can look at certain movies and see what sort of movies were coming out. That was a movie in the late 70s that it came out that the ruling class had shut down because there were uprisings. As soon as it came out, it was entitled Goodbye, Uncle Tom. You can find it now on YouTube. And people say, why? This movie had been out. Why would the system trip with it? In certain periods in the time, it can, so you say, wait a minute, these are the same individuals, same songs, why is it a problem at certain stages? The climate of it, it was a different climate. You look at during American Revolution, when it was said that it was not just said, it was actually occurring. Uprisings were happening from plantation to plantation, and the church at one stage of the game was used. It was like the other end of the other side of the sword. In other words, certain things could be a benefit to the system. And certain things could be a detriment to the system, depending on who's in play. Excuse me. Depending on the politics of it, timing, location. How we say politics is food, clothing, and shelter, but in addition to that, who has it, who disperses it, how you view it. The Black Panther Party with the gun, May 2nd, 1967, marched up in the state legislature, was a different gun. That, that the state had seen within our communities, how people view the gun, whether it be to simply, hunt rabbits, to feed ourselves, or in particular, utilize against each other. When a party had politicized the gun, in fact, Minister U.E.P. Newton had a lot of, he had to stress that. In fact, he said we must even politicize the gun. It was viewed as a different gun. And in response, the state said, wait a minute, shut it down. The state via state representatives such as Senator Mulford, it was entitled technically the Mulford Act, but really was known, and it was up to the point of people said, that's the Panther Bill. Why was it the Panther Bill? Because the people's conscience level was heightened to the point that said, no, you have an issue with the gun now. And you can historically look at different periods of time when certain gun legislation was put into place. You can literally tie it into certain historical dates of the Emancipation Proclamation. You know what I'm saying? You can tell certain are directly tied to the Black community. You say, wait a minute, that gun laws, when the gun became a discussion, wasn't a problem with the gun. But the state said, wait a minute, now you can't afford it. It's a certain dynamic, like even we talk about musical access to resources. This is a period now where the ruling class have, the type of money, the type of resources that different individuals have access to. that's in certain periods of time, states say, "Whoa, we can't have that." But at the conscious level, the politics is at a low. It's a different dynamic. We live in the Red Can Fremont Radio, y'all. We got some phenomenal forces, some people here, y'all. We're gonna be talking about a number of different things. We're gonna be talking about. We want you to call in your thoughts on the impact of the recent elections, selections, whatever how you want to view it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be talking about Mississippi. M-I, cricket letter, I. Cricket letter, I. We go to Mississippi. We go to Gulfport in particular. To Alabama, just come from Alabama. The case with the prisons, the strike in the Alabama prisons. It's going on down there. We're going to talk about the Mississippi. Jaheim McMillan. Why is the clamor from the community? His mother, Katrina. Why is a common term people are saying, fuck Family Dollar? Where is this? What's causing this here? What happened to Jaheim McMillan in front of Family Dollar down in Gulfport, Mississippi? What happened to this child? What are the people demanding? Why won't Family Dollar release the video footage? You know what I'm saying? What's the politics of family? When you hear Family Dollar, what's the distinction between Family Dollar and Dollar General? You know what I'm saying? And now people say, well, they're all the same. But you say, no, you can look at the product, the quality of the products and say, no, that's enough. What's actually... When you hear certain terms, we're automatically connected to the black community. Y'all come on in with us. Come on in with us. Cub in with us. Call in 929-477-3785 and press 1 to be heard. 929-477-3785. Brother Vince, I want you to introduce yourself. Let us know who we got here. Tell us about this. This graced our flyer last week. And I'm going to be flipping through this. I'll move this around while our brother is introducing himself, the publisher of this phenomenal piece right here. And bear with us. No. In fact, don't bear with us. Panther Cub with us. I'm gonna be just flipping through this magazine. So, you know what I'm saying? And I encourage y'all. You gonna get the information how to, you know what I'm saying? Get your own order. So get your own. You make sure y'all get your own.
By all means.
Just the pictures alone. People been eating up. They've been driving on like, man, we gotta get this here. You know what I'm saying? Some phenomenal footage and some phenomenal history. It ties into, we say, you know, not just like people say, well, I don't hear just about the political stuff, you know what I'm saying? Again, everything's political, you know what I'm saying? How we work with the code of culture, our nephew, Capital P, you know what I'm saying? Taking the studio, if y'all missed it, the phenomenal street party, the annual Chairman Fred Street Party, the Real Deal Rainbow Coalition. I just, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let my brother break the ice on who he is. We're gonna tag team throughout this episode, y'all. So y'all can, again, take 2 seconds breath. Say, wait a minute, call a friend, let them say, listen, y'all know where y'all supposed to be at. It's Wednesday night. This is a show that people used to cancel watching when Empire was on TV. This is a show that people say, wait a minute, I got to go hear Fremont Radio. Don't wait till you're saying, so subscribe, go to Chairman Fred Jr., hit that subscribe button, like how they do that stuff, hit that, share this. You're on Facebook. Somebody get this, somebody put your phone, I'm not on Instagram tonight. Put it up, tag Instagram with it. Go tweet, TikTok. This the little young phenomenal sister I met the other day. I hope she's tuning in. Elijah, I know I'm saying her name incorrect. She's phenomenal with this social media. She's phenomenal. I hope you tuning in, little sister, and I hope you put the word out to them to make sure they tune in with us tonight. Matter of fact, come right now, you can. Now, you don't know the sister email, I got Instagram. Just her name is Elijah. We can tap get somebody to let them know that they can film this live on Instagram and run that. But brother, again, welcome to the Hampton House. Again, it's not your first time. It's definitely not gonna be your last time. Give us a little, you know, saying background, a little background, who you are, and man, tell us about this the history of this magazine and what brought us to this issue here.
All right, absolutely. Well, first of all, Fremont, thank you for having me here at the Hampton House.
Yes, indeed.
It's always a pleasure to talk with you, Chairman Fred Jr.
Yes, sir.
And it's definitely an honor to be on your show. This is my first appearance, first time on your show. So thank God, I've been waiting,
right on.
You know,
we
to get on here,
brother.
and I've made it. So
yeah.
I think it's a great opportunity and a great channel and outlet
Yeah.
to share information, to educate our community across the globe.
Yes.
And that's something we can never do enough. Madiba Magazine. This is my brainchild here.
He hitting the stream y'all live. I'm tag team with him. I'm on Facebook Live. Y'all see this here, and we're gonna have some copies here too at the Hampton House. But also you're gonna get information to order your own too now. This
absolutely.
They call them the keepsake. This is gonna be something down the road. Say, damn, I should have got my issue.
This is definitely a keeper, definitely a keepsake, something that every household really in America, and I'm not just pubbing it up because I'm the publisher, but it's something that every household in America and absolutely every household in Black America ought to have in their home, on their coffee table, on their shelf, and for a keepsake, for historical records. Of course, we have on the cover, gracing the cover, none other than Chairman Fred Jr. of the Black Panther Party Cubs and capital P, Comrade P, the new generation of Black Panthers. And this is actually a story that I had been wanting to cover for over a decade. You know, I grew up as a young man, a big fan of Chairman Fred Sr. And for a long time, I only thought that there was one Fred Hampton, and that was the Fred Hampton Sr. that I grew up aspiring and admiring. His courage, his commitment, and sacrifice that he made for our people. So, and of course, the original Black Panther Party and members of the Black Panthers, coming out, being founded in Oakland. With a very large and impactful chapter here in Chicago. And I guess growing up as a young boy, I was sort of ingrained with public service and wanting to do things to better my community, to better our community, better the conditions of our people, et cetera. So I naturally gravitated towards the teachings, and the contributions that Chairman Fred Sr. had made. And to our society. So this, as I mentioned, I was so honored as a publisher and magazine publisher, media company owner, to be able to add some, shed some light and add some new information for readers, covering and reviewing the history and the legacy of Chairman Fred Sr. Madiba is actually inspired by the late Nelson Mandela, the great freedom fighter in South Africa, who was known as Madiba. Madiba is a South African clan name that, of course, Nelson Mandela was given. It is synonymous with freedom fighter. It's synonymous with elder, distinguished gentleman. And so the life and the legacy of Nelson Mandela and the contributions that he made to people all across the world inspired me to name this magazine, after his name he was affectionately known as. And Madiba magazine, in keeping with that legacy and keeping with my aspirations, focuses on issues that are of importance to the African diaspora, particularly here in the United States, Black Americans, and Black people throughout the world. Whether it be reparations, or as you talked about, we just got over the midterm elections, our political destiny, our economic destiny. There are so many things that we have to be aware of, and we have to be regularly informed of, that we have to get the information straight, not filtered through the channels of, let's say, the mainstream media. Yes. For a long time, Chairman Fred Jr., a lot of people, and still today, a lot of people are saying, man, these media outlets, be they the conservative channels or publications, et cetera, they're telling the American people what they want to tell the American people, not always giving the information straight,
Yes.
Sometimes you get more direct and unfiltered, uncensored information that's factual coming from outlets overseas, be it the Al Jazeera, be it the British Broadcasting Network, et cetera. So, long story short, African Americans, we still are fighting to be able to get accurate information to our communities, information that's real, that's unfiltered, that's uncut, and information that tells us what we need to know and not what the mainstream media or system wants us to know
Yes.
to manipulate us, on a daily basis. We all know now, we see through the politics, the MAGA politics and the deep blue politics. We see how every day when we wake up as black Americans, we are being manipulated. Our minds, the fight for our minds, the fight for our votes, the fight for our dollars. There's so much going on that Madiba, we aim to network our communities, our activists, which is why I'm here with you and the Black Panther Party Cubs, to be able to network our organizations that are working for the betterment of our communities, to be able to pull us together so that we're not, let's say fractured city by city. In St. Louis, this is going on. In Philadelphia, this is happening. In Chicago,
So this covers international issues.
this is international issues. And it takes in information that's happening and affecting us throughout the world. Primarily here in the United States, but also the world. And so it gives us an opportunity and a tool to be able to connect with each other, to be able to help each other, to be able to understand
Yes.
the problems that we're facing collectively. For example, right now, I mean, you've always got a multitude of problems, but you've got the situation with the black farmers in the South, where reparations and monies were set aside under the Obama administration for the past wrongdoings of the Department of Agriculture
Yes.
and racism and prejudice that put them black farmers at a disadvantage. Now,
Right.
we already don't have a lot of black farmers as it is,
Right.
if you compare it to the mainstream, to
Yeah.
the white agricultural,
Yeah.
community. But there's been moves now to stop those payments. I believe that there's a group of white farmers who filed a lawsuit to stop the disbursement of those funds. Now, incidentally, there's no movement to stop funds going to the Ukraine,
Yeah.
and to these other, but there's somehow the way.
Hope y'all listen in to these contradictions that Stephen Lynn. I know, hey, my brother. I know you. When you right down there, you down in Haynesville. You down in Shreveport. This is some relevant discussion, brother Robert down there in Texas. You know what I'm saying? This is relevant discussion for all of our people. You know what I'm saying? Wherever we at, but this. We talking about black farmers. Even to put in historical
Absolutely.
context, a lot of times we say, well, our people need to get back to the farming. But the deal is as the old axiom goes, anytime black folks rub 2 nickels together make it a dime, white folks make it a crime. Again, anytime black folks rub 2 nickels together make it a dime, white folks make it a crime. And it's, just even like we have issue even with such terms as the Great Migration, because in some sense it imposes that we just left from down south, negating the lynchings, the rape, the theft of land, you know what I'm saying, like really forcing us up out of that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then those of us who are still left, you know what I'm saying, you still get, the sharecropping tactics, the leasing, the convict leasing, different dynamics, similar to, and it could be equated to the north, people talking about, passing our house down, but you'll be hard pressed to find a family that can go 2 generations without some mother have to put up their home, the mortgage, and take a second mortgage out, to bond her son out of Cook County Jail or what have you. But now, in response to legislations that we're supposed to disperse funds to black farmers, there's actions that have been taken back. With the white farmers, and and I'm sure it's just not the white farmers, it's the government itself,
Absolutely.
And to impede that, to stop that. I hope y'all tuning in. I hope y'all let people know this here. What's happening? We talking about this. This is putting it in objective context of what we have situations down. Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, with no water. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And we talking about
the infrastructure breakdown.
infrastructure, how it's strategically, politically, how it's set up. You know what I'm saying? Everything down from who can get a loan, who can get resources, which state, and I think they even talk about Mississippi. Brother was bringing to my attention
Michigan as well.
Michigan. You know what I'm saying? And Mississippi is known as the largest populace of black people in the country. You know what I'm saying? I think 12 cities composed that Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? That it referred to like the Africa of the United States, because and when you have places like even Chicago, which Cook County is in, at one point period in time, Cook County per capita composed the largest populace of black people per capita. And so you see different attacks, so you see the highest taxes in Cook County. This is not by happenstance, of course.
Yes.
The murder rate, this is strategic, this is strategic, So again, we live in that breakout. We talking about the Madiba magazine. We gonna talk. I know y'all trying to figure out how you order, how you what's this information. But we're gonna get all that to you though.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, brother. You were telling about the stuff that's covered here historically.
Yes, and so if we look at, for example, like I was saying with the black farmers, how they're being disenfranchised in ways. Now we're here in the North. This is how the game is played in part. We're here in the North, so our lives don't necessarily revolve around farming and the economic benefits of farming in the cities like Chicago, Baltimore, Los Angeles, etc. Whereas our lives may be a little bit more impacted by construction, which my background, I was previously a electrical construction contractor. So I know all about how the city of Chicago, for example, beat black contractors out of over $1 billion in contracting funds that were set aside, minority set-asides.
Yeah.
That's when under the former Mayor Daley administration, a lot of his pals went to jail for setting up fronts as minority business owners.
But
and then they
pass-throughs in Chicago.
They were pass-throughs.
Yeah,
So
pass-throughs.
the jobs that were meaningful jobs that should have went to young brothers and sisters, they went to whites
And
who
people may say,
already were getting an abundance.
What's the big deal with that? As long as the building get built, some people might take that position.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
The next question has to be similar to like when we talk about gentrification. People say, "Oh, it looks nice up and down State Street now," but the next logical question is supposed to be, where are the people at? You know what I'm saying? What happened to the people? And we don't get those jobs. What happened to those young brothers and sisters?
Exactly. And so, and this is how it's dissected. Like you said, they'll say, well, they don't see how stealing the wealth via jobs in the black community, how that's a big crime. But then a lot of us up north don't see how that's a crime when the farmers are beat out of billions and tens of billions of dollars. So they dissect and they segment us and keep us separate and apart.
Yeah.
So collectively we don't see. But when you and people that are lacking education, that don't really understand, which is why Madiba is here to help break it down. They don't understand. Well, when you beat the black community in Chicago out of billions of dollars building the police stations, the fire stations that the city has to build and renovate, or the public schools like we upgraded the power that were millions of dollars in work to upgrade the power systems in all the public schools throughout Chicago. Well, those are jobs that are basically like $70 an hour jobs, like jobs that are paid $40 an hour and plus maybe another $30, $35 in benefits per hour. So not only are you gonna make $40, or a person who's a electrician or tradesman going to make, let's say, $40 an hour, but they're also getting another $30 or so paid per hour into their benefits fund for retirement down the road.
This long range impact.
So if you
and generational wealth.
And generational wealth. So you're looking at something like this, let's say $70, $80 an hour here in value times 8 hours a day. So you're looking at over $600 and something a day.
And that money is able to turn over also in their respective communities. So you go through, you see more businesses, and the taxes impact the schools, and you see a whole different atmosphere.
And that's what like here in Chicago, we got the Orland Square and the Orland malls.
Wow.
Well, those malls are beautiful and illustrious because those shopping plazas in those white communities, because we're spending and people are spending their dollars, their money's there, and it's generating all these taxes. So naturally, they have the money for the best, strongest police departments, the fire departments, the best infrastructure. they got money raining down because they're getting all the tax dollars that are coming in through sales.
And then, ironically, they'll flip the script and use numbers of our community to get TIF, or tax increment funds.
Absolutely.
Then they can play poor when the beneficiaries say, well, we don't have this. So that's why, like, you see the redistricting. You hear these different words now. Like, say, damn, I thought Little Village was over here. You know, like Chicago
Right.
used to be known, it was so segregated. There were certain locales that was, you hear Pilsen, Little
Yes.
Village, Inglewood, it meant black, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Little Village, you know what I'm saying? Pilsen, Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? But now you see they're saying the recarving up of these respective districts, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it's like, it used to be so structured. Like Chicago was one of the top, if not the top, segregated city
Yes.
in the country. And you
Probably
can see
the top.
the
Yeah,
top.
the
You
number
know,
one.
you
Number
can hear
one.
you hear words like the red line. I mean, black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Blue line. You know the white community. But now you see the expansion of the pink line, brown. These it making it more vague and ambiguous, what opens the doors for people can jump in when it's beneficial and say, okay, I'm on this side
Absolutely.
of the border. I'm on this. So I get the tax increment funds. Then go back to, you know what I'm saying, the regular life, and say, as you mentioned earlier, get these jobs, these benefits.
Absolutely. I mean, and so when you have, and so people are, you know, in their
I'm
community.
listening. Give me a little more coffee. You good?
I'm great. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yep.
When people are in our communities and they're passing by these construction sites and they're saying, hey, I don't see any blacks working on those construction sites. Well, I mean, that's part of the reason because these contractors are consistently, in large part, cut out of the process to get those contracts, and then ultimately the people who get those contracts, they employ their friends, their family, friends of friends, friends of family, and etc. And that usually never really reflects ultimately in people like us being hired. So that's why we've got to stand up and we've got to stop that process. Now, Chairman Fred, as you know now, one of the things that's happening, particularly in Illinois, is the licenses for the cannabis
Yes.
to be able to sell weed, to be able to sell cannabis.
Well,
Now,
you would think
this,
that, you would think that at least let black people sell weed.
yeah,
You
I
would think
mean,
that.
since they lock millions up,
Right.
you know, hundreds
and
of
we
thousands.
get the bad rap for it. That you know, the drug when it's a
But
bad
now,
thing.
yeah, but now you basically are white or a person with access to some significant capital to be able to even invest $50,000 or $60,000 in the license you'll need to buy if you're even approved.
If you approve,
For
so it's not just
you
economics.
pay that if you're approved.
if you approve.
Yeah, if you're approved.
I hope we listening, the audience. I hope we're listening.
And that's in addition to probably having to have about $500,000 to secure a location that meets approval standards by those who decide. So typically, come on, I mean, we know, not a lot of these young brothers and sisters have $1 million on the ready.
And the political connections, or who
And
you know,
the political connections.
It's similar to like Chicago. It's a big thing about, especially under the daily machine, Mayor Daley's tenure, the cab driving. People, something that brothers in particular was doing. Doing the cab pickups. This is prior to pre-Uber and Lyft, and then there's a person who from Boston was brought in to be over the cab seals. Those are those silver plates medallions you see over the cab. And in many cases, the only way black people got them, if they caught one, saying somebody had retired and their grandfather, and they sold you the cab seal. You might have worked for this person. Your mother been a maid for somebody, and you can trickle down and get the cab seal. So it wasn't that simplistic. It's just like, well, I'm not a drive. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? These were tasks and jobs that, driving the horses. You know what I'm saying? Or in some cases, they move driving Miss Daisy. Somebody. So now to be able to drive, but then the politics of it. Now you have to get the seals. You have to pay for the seal and be connected on who can get you the cab seal. So those silver medallions on top of the cab, that's one just for design. So this goes to the politics of every dynamic.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. it's I mean, politics, political
Yes.
science, who gets what,
Yes.
when, where, and how.
And the impact.
Who gets what, when, where, and
What's
how.
the psychological impact of a child seeing, going to say he grew up in Inglewood, what have you, and you see these white people with license plates from Wisconsin, Iowa, working, and your father, you know what I'm saying, can't have nothing, no input working, you know what I'm saying, and how the trickle down, but the son or the daughter can go get a job, pushing the packs, you know what I'm saying, where they seeing daddy, mom can't get a job. The trickle, the lack
absolutely.
of respect, how to divide,
Absolutely.
how the family, how a woman, how a wife view her husband, how a husband views his wife. You know what I'm saying? You come, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And we get caught. They tell us just it starts in the homes, family unit. You know what I'm saying? But you got a situation negating the brutal realities, like even the high population of children that are homeless in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Add to that the unemployment rate with black people. Then you got white people who coming in other communities. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, they're coming in, from other states,
other countries.
And yep, and you underscored exactly what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
In some of our communities here in the suburbs of Chicago, where they have all these factories and warehouses,
Yes.
when growing up, our older brothers and fathers and uncles, they couldn't find jobs. Well, these factories were being filled by immigrants coming across the border illegally.
Yeah.
Because the system at that time found a way that they could exploit them, make them work long hours, pay them very little,
Yes.
and displace us in the
Yeah.
workforce.
Yeah.
And they did that, and oftentimes I go into some of these factories and I talk to some Hispanics now that are maybe third generation Americans, et cetera. And they say, man, our families have been in here, and these factories is like right around in the community. We've been working here for like the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wow, and a lot of blacks in the area didn't know that these factories and plants were even this close.
Yeah.
Because you didn't wander, too far away from
Yeah.
the area where you live. But come to find out, you have all these large corporation fulfillment centers, that have been out here sprinkled out in the community, that have been undercutting, black labor for a long time. So, so these are issues that we've got to play chess with we've got to play chess now with America, not checkers.
And let me touch on something. 'Cause I don't want to give. I think even when sometimes we hear certain discussions, people they devalue it to elementary race rhetoric. Like people say, well, other communities are getting the jobs. But I want to go a little deeper than this. I want the political significance, like strategically, like it's not because it's not a blanket approach. Like like you have to put it. Let's go example for even with the Italian community. We're talking the 50s and 60s, and where the people would be forced into an absolute. Either you're saying you attempt to indict the entire Italian community to connect with the mafioso, or say no, these are hardworking people. You know what I'm saying? Who came in. You know what I'm saying? Trying to make it. Live a quote unquote American dream. The deal is. Andy was up at a certain period in time to expose contradictions. How it's the system, the U.S. depending on what's at play on an international level. In other words, whether there's some sort of war being engaged, which was World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, what respective parts of a particular community who are being grabbed. In other words, there was a certain entity drafted from the Italian community, and that really was up to put on the government payroll. And we saying J. Edgar Hoover, the former director of the FBI, he denied that the mafioso even existed. Fast forward to even to the cartel's role.
Absolutely.
And it's not the entire major
and we see that now.
But the U.S. grabbed certain forces.
This is what's going on. I make the comparison now, right? They talk about the MAGA Republicans, right?
Yeah.
And how they call them election deniers, right? Okay. But what they're doing is they're playing the same game with the white system that the entire white system has played with Black America for a long time. They've denied our truth for a long time in this country. And so what Trump and the MAGA Republicans are doing is denying the truth of white liberals. They say that Biden didn't win the election. They say these mistruths. When the first black man, I think, was became or should have become mayor. I think that was Wilson Frost of the city of Chicago. They told him no way. He was in line, the successor in line to be the next mayor after Richard J. Daley died of a heart attack. It was Wilson Frost. I think he was he was next in line for succession at that point.
He changed the rule. Yeah,
They locked the doors.
They
chained the doors to the mayor's office in the city of Chicago, and they told him, no, that's not the way the rules work.
Yeah,
They locked him out.
it's ironic. Some situations, even Harold Washington's.
So they took his
Yeah,
truth. They took his truth and
the truth.
the truth,
The truth.
Yeah, not his truth,
Yeah,
but
his
the truth.
Yes.
And they changed it. That was the black truth at that time.
Yes.
That was the truth that favored us. They
Yeah.
twisted and turned it to favor them.
Yeah.
So this is what the MAGA Republicans and the Trumps and what they're doing. They're just doing to each other, to the white establishment.
Why-
They're doing
why
to
in
each
so
other
many- in so many
what
cases-
they've done to Black America for a long time. They've lied. They've undercut our achievements.
What's your assessment on being? Why is it that the black community has never been able to? Because like I said, like people like, I mean, there are certain things that is the truth. You know, and
Absolutely, facts are facts.
Facts are facts. Is there any case where black people have been in position to make a statement and say, okay, this works in our benefit, or are we forced, similar to like this talking about the cab seals, they're forced to get the chitlins from the conversation. In other words, you know what I'm saying, pick up, you know what I'm saying, that cause we never been in play and control with the cab seals. We had to get, we had to get the residue of it, the jobs in our community. You know what I'm saying, there'd be certain situations when we get to, like in Menard Prison, the North Siders, who like the Aryan Brotherhood, they were able to come in and have these picnics. And ironically, you know, the history of picnics is, you know, a feast they had called Pick a Nigga. And these Aryan North Siders would come into prison doing the picnics. They would come in, they would ride motorcycles on the prison yard, bring it on doing the picnic, and they would come in literally with guns, actual guns, in the prison, and they would, in the white prison, the North Siders can get the guns. And many of the black prisoners were forced to fight amongst each other to get the raggedy guns, and to the point that the North Side would move such an arrogance, they would tell certain street organizations, y'all need to stay inside, wear your colors, because we're going to move on this one. Y'all can get the, you know what I'm saying, that way y'all get more guns. It wasn't until a guy named Blue, who was with the GDs at the time, they had killed him, and Blue had a respect and a reverence from prisoners that superseded the different street tribe organizations, and that's what gathered all of the black prisoners together. Said, wait, we're not doing this no more. But it's just, see, like case after case, black people are forced to engage in that, whether it be the music industry, whether it be the gun industry, whether it be the drug game.
Absolutely,
they are forced to, you know, what I'm saying,
look,
take the bottom feeders.
We don't have
power.
The leaders like your dad, Chairman Fred Sr., Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, that are going to stand on the truth and it's not going to water it down. You know, a lot of our leaders today go along to get along, compromise, you know, and we need an emergence of, and that's part of, again, with the purpose of Madiba. We want to recruit thousands of new progressive leaders that are going to keep it real, that are going to lead to the benefit of the people and not for the benefit of the party, you know, for the Democratic Party or for the Republican Party.
Yes.
You know, because you've got, you know, falsification and poor leadership on both sides. I mean, when you look at like Chicago, the dilapidation of the school system, et cetera, this is a city that's been under Democratic control since the beginning of time.
But you have
these are Democrats that have screwed it up, and you know,
and there was a climate, as you said, that we had representation, but also the option of the Black Panther Party. But you have the Black Panther Party cubs. I mean, I'm not tooting our horn. Yeah. We got representation. But what does it? And this is a rhetorical question. What climate was necessary for people to come to grips with, you know what I'm saying, to at least acknowledge that. Okay, like what I just said, okay, like we say, even had to acknowledge that you said about, you said something about power. we just talking about not the cab seals. It was something. What were we just talking about?
The well, contractors,
Contractors,
the farmers,
contractors,
the contractors.
farm-
Yeah.
And several years ago, people say, "Oh no, it's because we're not working hard enough." You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We at
That
the stage
was
of the
always-
game now,
and that
that
nothing
we-
but dogma, nothing but
right,
rhetoric.
in attack.
You know,
they at least
they said,
acknowledge
remember
their
they said the
policies.
Mexicans work hard.
Not too long
You know,
ago.
this was
Not-
done
not-
by
you
dogma.
have-
This
no-
is
no- no
this is
doubt.
what I'm saying.
No doubt.
This is the same script
No
that the
doubt.
MAGA Republicans
No-
run.
I mean,
They said
a lot
blacks.
of people
They told
regurgitate
them.
this.
Yeah,
We regurgitate this.
they told the Mexicans, "Oh, you guys work so hard. You work
But
so
even
hard.
it's
You work harder than the black
and
man."
to
You know what I'm
justify
saying?
everything,
Nothing
like
but
communities,
brainwashing.
You go through the communities, you see that, like you go through Bridgeport, and you see the houses that look better on Bridgeport. You know what I'm saying? This is the area that Mayor Daley grew up in, and a reactionary response is they worked hard for that, not to go in depth and say, wait a minute, the TIF. The tax increment funds, you know what I'm saying? That you say, wait a minute, how would they get this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now I think we come up on a period of time, which is also necessary. We refer to as a revolutionary time. In other words, now what I mean by that is that where people, the ante is up, like you seen during the 60s,
Absolutely.
the Black Power movement, 60s, where people that were different, where Marvin Gaye was able to go against Berry Gordy and the gangsters who really ran Motown Records before, beyond the blackface, and say, I'm gonna put this song out, what's going on, whether you like it or not. Because he had a connection to the community. It was a
Right.
climate
Absolutely.
where people, where the politics, it was exposed, it was clear that the politics of music, where the FBI had went to Berry Gordy and the song was put out, Dancing in the Streets is a strategic move to contend the climate that was happening coast
Yes.
to coast with H. Rod Brown. I know, imagine what I mean. We had to come out with H. Rod Brown, and they connected the music to the politics. And then it was like even now, where people would go past, like, you know, saying this reactionary, just look at a gym shoe. You know what I'm saying? People, like in our community, we grew up, we don't read the ingredients on food labels.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But then you stop and say, wait a minute, who's control of this? You know what I'm saying? Nike,
Absolutely.
Adidas, and there's like you see the conversation, James Brown. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Wait a minute, you're not just performing. They brought James Brown to certain communities to calm people down. People, you know what I'm saying? People say, whoa, wait a minute.
Yes.
This is why are you performing this now? You know, say even now, people say, as opposed to with all the rappers just coming up there, well, they're just where the rappers are, or they must be Scorpios. All these type of elementary exclamation that you wouldn't even give it to a child. You know what I'm saying? But the people like you says, wait, why is the French Quarter in New Orleans? Why the flood damage? Why are their houses rebuilt? Why when the certain what you call them the RVs, the campers
Yes.
that was given to the black community, it had formaldehyde so strong in a certain part where the baby's crib was supposed to be at, that it was killing people. You say, now, if one or two say, okay, it's a coincidence. Say, no, this is true. You know what I'm saying? So people, and you have to debate, people say, oh man, I don't believe they done that back. You know what I'm saying? We don't believe they would do that to us.
Right.
There was a common conversation in the late 60s where people say, man, automatically, that as soon as something happened, you know, you have to go through no debate. I tell people, similar to like, you go when a person sees a McDonald's sign, a red with yellow M, automatically your taste buds, your palate start getting ready
Right.
for some salty fries. It's automatic time to eat, whether you're hungry or not.
Absolutely.
It was a climb where people automatically, as soon as a relationship, you talk to, hey, what happened, sister? What you talk? It was common. People talk, man, you heard the terrorists in Vietnam. You heard about the having North Korea. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Ho Chi Minh. It was common as opposed to reactionary conversations with Kim Kardashian. You know what I'm saying? With Megan, with Lil Nas, the new drop. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's those Air Force 3000s or such a, and
Absolutely.
now to discuss it, wait a minute, why would this person be given the keys to the city? Why is this rapper being a spokesperson for us? You know what I'm saying? Who's behind this here? How is this talentless person, you know, speaking on our political issues? We don't see y'all bringing on no Woody Allen discussing no political issues for y'all.
Absolutely.
Why is it every day, why are we even having a discussion about a Herschel Walker, even you know what I'm saying? The audacity. They had to have a serious conversation.
Right.
That this individual's represent, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and incidentally, he was just brought in from Texas. He was in Texas a couple years ago, and he was brought in and groomed by Trump to run. So he's really not a Georgian, you know.
They switched
Yeah. Now, and you know, I was just telling someone about that the other day. If the seat was being held currently by a white man in Georgia, is no way that the Republican Party would have ran and got a black man. See, it's only because Raphael Warnock, Senator Warnock, is holding that seat in Georgia. He's a black man, so they would go and get another black man. You know, this game is still being played.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it was a white man holding that seat, they would not have selected a black person for that. That would not have been appropriate in Georgia.
Yeah.
For the MAGA Republicans or for Republicans to do that. You know, but these are the games that the system, you know, that it plays. So that goes back to what you were saying. You know, they will try to utilize, even in the case of your dad, these informants and these different people, you know, that the government and the system always feel that they can give crumbs to one of us to undo another, you know. And this is typically, you know, other communities sort of safeguard a little bit better against that. The bottom line is I've got some moral standards and I'm not going to undercut my community and the advancement of my community. You know, like you don't see it happening as much with Hispanics, where they'll undercut their heritage and their community.
But it's the same. It's the same tactic. It's the same tactics waged against them. You know what I'm saying? In other words, is this okay? If you put Martians, if you're in the position they put us in, I mean, in other words, like
Absolutely.
it's common. You know what I'm saying? Like you. Okay, Cinco de Mayo, you know what I'm saying, a widely respected, you know what I'm saying, celebrated, you know, within the Spanish-speaking community. I don't know if you've seen downtown Chicago, you know what I'm saying.
I have.
Okay, with the flags,
Right.
with the Mexicano flags.
Yeah.
Could you imagine black people with the flag that Marcus Mugabe, the red, black,
The
red.
Beliberation flag.
Could you
The flag of
imagine that
liberation.
flag, black people going down, just riding around with those flags like that? Not getting pulled over by the police, not being molested, but you know what I'm saying, and having city officials stand with you downtown. Could you imagine that?
Yeah, and what would be even more difficult to imagine is blacks waving those flags, storming the Capitol like they did on January 6th. Could you imagine that? I mean, with law enforcement standing down.
I think it should be put in context so people can say, because see, it's embarrassing to say, you know what I'm saying? Because I say, you know, it's embarrassing to be no press, but I think we should put in context also. Why are we in a position? You know what I'm saying? Why?
Absolutely.
Why there's a fear factor? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
About coming together. Why even acknowledge? You know what I'm saying? Acknowledging who we are.
Absolutely.
And
and we are the system now. You know what I mean, with the proliferation of guns, the drugs, the crime. Be it real in some situations, be it unreal in other situations, they have a fear level in the black community. We're largely fearful of each other, broadly in the black community, and this is all a part of the conditioning.
Yes,
that has been going on for decades.
Yes,
for decades
yes.
now. You know, and so this takes work, and and this is what Madiba, the magazine, and not just a magazine, but sort of a movement. This is what we're about: is re-educating, leading by example.
Live and direct, y'all.
You know, we can't. Once we make it, successfully, we don't run away from the community. We run towards the community, embrace the community.
We commend you for even this front page. This is a revolutionary act to, you know what I'm saying, the Panther Cubs on the front cover of the Madiba magazine, so we'll make sure we find out how we can, get our order, so get them in. Sister Comrade, do we have any callers in queue? Callers in queue, 929-477-3785.
Fremont, Chairman, we have two callers in queue. Caller in queue.
Welcome to Fremont Radio.
Hey.
Fremont, welcome to Fremont Radio. We hear you.
Hey, Fremont, can you hear me?
Fremont, we hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay, thank you. It's breaking up. I just tuned in maybe in the last half hour, but just wanted to touch on a few points that was brought up. First,
Where you from? What's your name? Where you from?
Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. for keeping this going, you know, and giving a voice to the people, and you know, all the political concepts that you bring to light, and educating people. It's a lot to learn out here, man. They got the deck stacked up against us so high, you know.
Yes.
As soon as you feel like you on track to doing something in one direction, it's like you get overwhelmed from a different direction. Like, oh man, I need to learn about that too.
Yes.
To protect myself in that area, and you start getting heads in that area, and they come out of left field with something else. It's like, goddamn, when am I going to get on top of it?
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So you talked a little bit about Italians being part of the mafia and all that, and they were hard-working people and whoop wop wop. I just want to bring to the table what probably many people aren't aware of. B of A, the Bank of America, you know, that started out as being like the Bank of Italians. You know, it's like they organized and, you know, kept their money in their community, and that was their banking system that now today serves, you know, the greater parts of America, if not the world, you know.
Yes.
Redlining, you talked about redlining in Chicago. You know, redlining is heard all over the United States. I live in Oakland today, though I'm from Chicago, born and raised. You know, I've also lived in LA. I've traveled all around the world, and I'm telling you that in the United States, redlining has occurred in many different places, and I want to go on to say that it's occurred around the world. And the reason I want to say that is because there are opportunity zones. It's like if you want to go to, I want to say Portugal, right, and you want to purchase some property, well, they have incentive programs for Americans, or in particular Americans, but different people that want to come to the country and want to, you know, get involved in the community, and you know, you can purchase cheaper properties in what are called opportunity zones. Well, in the United States, you know, our disenfranchised communities are opportunity zones. That's why you get the people, the Arabs and all them different people coming in, opening up liquor stores and different businesses, because they took advantage of whatever program was offered to external entities to come in and set up shop in opportunity zones. All that ties into the redlining, you know. I heard you talking about cannabis, you know, and you know, the drug trade and getting into that and all of that stuff, right? What I'd like to say about that is, you know, you know, you got to look at what other people are doing and how other communities found success. You know, I'm talking about, you know, the Italians, the Jews, the different, you know, Irish, all these different people, different communities were at one point in time in this country in particular disenfranchised. You know, however, they all rose to positions of power and authority in one form or fashion. You know, you just got to look at different other cities too, how they're setting up things. For example, I'm in Oakland right now, and you talk about, you know, black people in Chicago not having opportunities to set up shop in cannabis. Yeah, it does take a lot to legally do that. In Oakland, they have a program where people in particular that have had marijuana cases against them when it was illegal, they can get funding to get set up shop, you know, and get in business. And then they've organized different coalitions and stuff, whereas these people that do, former felons do get in the opportunity to these cannabis shops. Once they start generating and making money, they got to put a portion of what they earn back into this coalition to fund other people and expand. And that program may be 2 years old now, and it's now expanding to another level where they're doing a lot of other things. I'm not a part of that program, so I can't really speak on it. I just want to touch on it. Just, you know, look at what other people are doing. Look into other people. We got the internet now, Google, man, research, man. You know, it's not just about talking and complaining. We got to be active and vigilant. You know what I'm saying? I'm on the race and equity team here in Oakland by the Race of God. You know, I work for a city that's, you know, really trying to improve equality and equity. In this city in particular, we are following models that Seattle was one of the first race and equity teams as a city, where you talk about local government took public funds to improve the equity in the community. And mayor, I want to say that did that, you know, at that time it was like 5 of the richest people in the world were citizens of that community, and they didn't give a damn about equity to 5 people. I want to say Paul Allen was one of them. That dude had like a $50 million debt with the city, and the mayor that started that race and equity team out there, he shut off Paul Allen's lights, you know, in the efforts to improve equity. You know what I mean? That's what we're modeling here in Oakland. I believe that the city of Chicago needs to do that too. It's a grassroots effort, man. You know, you got to see what other cities are doing and get involved. You know, it starts with city council and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? What else we got going on? Man, I heard the question about, you know, what climate does it take? Man, if a frog gets thrown in some hot water, man, that's the climate for the frog to jump the fuck out the hot water. Man, this water is hot out here, Joe. We need to organize. We need to come together, put our 2 cents together, literally our 2 cents, man. I've been had a plan, you know, for taking change off the dresser to improve equity. You know, all of these, I'm fortunate to be on the Race to Equity team, and I'm fortunate to, you know, be a part of whatever I'm able to, the Lord puts my hands to be a part of, man. But I really wish we could just do for self and take this little bit that we got and you know, put together our own assets and all that. We can invest in our own businesses, man. Do you know that 80% of businesses that are for sale, like if you go to like buybiz.com, for example, just for one website that is like a public market, that's like the Craigslist of businesses for sale, you know? Man, 80% of businesses that get put on the market to go for sale go unsold, you know? A lot of businesses that are thriving, they get sold for many reasons. It might be health issues, you know, or otherwise successful, fully profitable business, you know, owner runs into health issues or their family runs into health issues. They got to go out of state or whatever, and they need to sell their business in a hurry. You know, you get discounted businesses, man. It's a whole lot of hustle game out here, man. Real estate, you know, do you know about tax deeds and tax liens, man? You can buy properties pennies on a dollar, man. I just bought a deed to a house in Indiana, man, for $400, man. It's an $80,000 house, you know. It's really about information and educating yourself, you know, and it's not always and probably not going to happen by going to a university. I'm not talking about 4-year education. I'm talking about in a book, man, doing studying, man, seeing what's out here. So there's plenty of opportunities out here. We just need to come together and organize. That's all I got.
Right on for your call. Right on for your call. Let me just, you know, encourage you to keep calling in, and I definitely want to say, you know, the Black Panther Party stated information is raw material for new ideas. We on the ground down there, you know what I'm saying, Oakland, California. In fact, we're working on getting back there soon. CRC. In fact, our sister was number heads, our communications secretary, Carol Fife, and we a lot of the moves you're talking about. But I just want to say right on, and not just from Oakland, but I just want to say this too, and not to be a pessimist, you know what I'm saying, but again, to put it more in I don't want to simplify these struggles. You know, a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, I know that wasn't your attempt, but a lot of times we'll say, if we just do this, and a lot of times people, we have discussions negating the counterinsurgency. And a lot of people say, well, if you know, don't come in with, you know, saying, all we gotta do is pull ourselves up by the bootstraps. We just get together, and you know, what I'm saying, I don't want to be like not like a defeatist, but just it coming in through the door. I have to acknowledge this because a lot of times people acknowledge certain things, and later on down the road, like, you know, like they say, damn, this, you know what I'm saying, this I didn't see the fine print, whether it be in the music industry, whether it be in real estate game, whether it be bad, you know what I'm saying, just making certain moves, because theoretically, a lot of the propositions, a lot of the things, you know what I'm saying, that's put out there, is, you know what I'm saying, it sounds real good on paper, sounds real good on the internet, and we can move with this, but I just want to, again, never put our guards down, and all, you know what I'm saying, go in was, as Frantz Fanon said, to be able to accept the concessions without compromising our principles. And you know what I'm saying, and so many people, you know what I'm saying, because a lot of times we lose our support base by coming in. Like I say, I'm the moves thus far. You know what I'm saying? Again, Oakland. That's the sister city to the Black Panther Party, with the Black Panther Party Cubs, and a lot of moves. You know what I'm saying? Again, I was talking to our field marshal earlier. Field Marshal Torr can just, and I get there, I'm charged up, you know what I'm saying? However, I still cannot negate, you know what I'm saying, when I walk through Leimert, when I walk through Lake Merritt, the population of black, you know what I'm saying, black people, you know what I'm saying, how, I don't, how, the mass, I won't say moving, but pushing us out. You know what I'm saying? We're not just popping up in Stockton and Sacramento by happenstance. I can't devalue that. I can't negate that. You know what I'm saying? I can't negate what's happening to us. You know what I'm saying, in our communities. By, cause again, in theory and on paperwork, we can look at this system is Machiavellian with its paperwork. We can look at the U.S. Constitution, for example. You know what I'm saying? Even though there are certain blatant contradictions, which I must say, I gotta throw this in there too. There's some. I just met this brother, Max Thompson. They're engaged in a whole bunch of stuff about even challenging even the language in the Constitution about the slavery. But it's a lot of the Constitution. It's a lot of stuff that theoretically speaking, you can say, wow, this sounds good. Life, liberty, we can work hard. But the reality is, Minister U.E.P. Newton has says the Constitution that comes down to our people is nothing more than pagan poetry. You know what I'm saying? It sounds good, but there's a catch. This system is built on the catch up. It's that's for example. For example, you mentioned about Indiana, the property. Okay, what part of Indiana that is? We talking about the property with the tax liens, brother? What part of Indiana is that? Is that caller still there? Carter, you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll hear you.
Yeah, I'm still here. They muted me, man. They put the boot on me, man.
Hold on. Who muted you? Who muted you?
Go ahead.
No. But make sure you on the plan. We ain't gonna mute you here. No. As I say, if we. Okay, so no, we not go. Don't you're free to comment here, but so if it's us, you know what I'm saying, the state, the county insurgency might pull a stunt with you on this here, but so we might no, you free to talk here, brother. No, this Freedom on Radio here, bro. Yeah, that again, what part of Indiana? Yeah. To do a little background, this ain't that. This is Freedom on Radio here, man. So if any technicalities happen, this is the state coming at us, man. So no, okay. So again, question. What part of Indiana will you reference this beautiful mood is happening about? You just go get property and grab these apples off these trees, and you know what I'm saying, and this American dream. What part of Indiana? Just out of curiosity.
Let me say this: there's over 5,000 counties in the United States. Every single county sells tax deeds.
What part of Indiana did you get the property?
Most of the public.
What part of Indiana did you have? Let's go with that. We don't do hypothetical. What part of Indiana do you have that you just got this property that you just got? What part of Indiana?
That's not a hypothetical. That's a specific piece of information.
Okay.
I purchased this tax deed in Vigo County.
What Okay. No, I'm saying hypothetical. Okay, what county? What county?
VIGO.
Do you know?
VIGO.
VIGO. Do you know what city that's in? What city that's in?
The county?
No, city. Have you been to the property? Have you seen it? Have you been on the ground with the property?
I physically been there? No, I have not physically gone there myself.
You see, you got it on the internet, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, okay. That's what I'm. Okay, that's okay. I'm dealing with the lives. I'm dealing with real, concrete, tangible situations. You know what I'm saying? If you can, while we talking, I want to know what. Okay, let me give you. Okay, have you ever been to Indiana, the state of Indiana?
I have been to Indiana.
What part of Indiana have you been to?
Yeah, I have been to Indiana.
What part of Indiana?
What part have I been to?
Yes.
Let me see. I used to buy, when I was living in Chicago, yes, man, I used to buy my gas in Hammond, Indiana. As an investor, I've gone to different parts of Indiana, different counties, looking at properties out there. I've gone through Lake County. I've gone through, St. Joseph County. I've gone through.
Have you actually been involved in it?
What's that? LaPorte
LaPorte?
County.
Yes. Yes. Are you familiar with the politics of Indiana?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the politics of Indiana?
Oh, man. Yeah, I am familiar with the politics.
Enlighten those who may not be enlightened, so we can balance this American dream out a little bit. See, I'm not trying to be a defeatist. I want to give people the good, the bad, and the ugly. Like even when I'm organizing, when I talk about a lot of people when they talk about organizing, they say, listen, some people can call and say, I got 5,000 friends, and they tell them what they have. I mean, people they have on social media. When I talk, I represent my constituents. I'd say, listen, I got some guys with me. Some of them got some issues. Some of them fucked up. But I can depend on them. These are, you know what I'm saying? They're not distinguished with comrades. I'm talking about, okay, not the internet. I'm talking the politics of Indiana. You know what I'm saying? This is something, see, so at the end of the day, when people come, at the end of the day, when the brutal realities, you know what I'm saying? See, when I talk about, when people come, okay, I just got the dogs, I'm at the Hampton House. The dogs are barking. We got these dogs we call the Hampton Hounds. I talk now, I can give you, some people can sell, you look at the pictures of the golden retrievers on the TV, say these are beautiful puppies. I have a discussion, we have a group text with the puppies of the dogs we just had. We talk about a discussion from fleas, dog shit, smelling, barking, dog's temperament, you know what I'm saying? The underbelly. See, the Black Panther part, people say, oh, I have my uncle, he has a leather jacket also. And you know what I'm saying? They knew the Panthers. I'm talking, not to discuss this, I'm talking about Chairman Fred and Deborah Johnson not having no hot running water in the apartment, going down the street to Barbara Sankey, who's on the Lieutenant of Finance Committee, going down, you know what I'm saying, to take a shower at her mother's home. When I'm talking about the organizing the Chairman Fred Street Party, we said August 30th. A lot of people look in there and say, well, I was with such and such in the Black Lives Matter. They had an event and they had 5,000 participants there. I'm talking about the agent provocateurs. You know what I'm saying? The good, the bad, and the ugly. A lot of people talk about, you know what I'm saying? They say, well, the music, and my friends in the music business, they made a successful thing about the music. I'm talking about the breaking process. I'm talking about the behind the scenes, the rewriting of music and the cutthroat politics that goes on there. I'm talking about Indiana. I'm talking about outside of Gary. I'm talking about the way, the blatant. I'm talking about the second birth after Tennessee, where the Ku Klux Klan was birthed at. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the policy. I'm talking about the policies of even going down this home that someone that can be bought and purchased. But then when it comes down, say, well. So at the end, they say, well, you know what? I got a house in Indiana. And then they get down there. I say, whoa, I didn't know black folks came and saying go down there. When I look at the place, you still with me? You still with me? You still with me? When I talk to people about different places about going, I ask, even when I go speaking engagements, they say, I say, how was the weather? Some people don't know me say the weather is nice. Other people jump in the car and say something. When the chairman asks you, how was the weather? He's talking about not only the weather, what you think from the weather, he's talking about the political climate. He's talking about, you know what I'm saying, how progressive, you know what I'm saying, he's all this has to be taken into account. You know what I'm saying, what type of, when I do Alabama prisons, who's the point person, what organizations are taken seriously there. I just come back from down south. I got some calls coming in a minute. I just come from down south. I got, you know what I'm saying, Alabama, Mississippi. I hop in the car. You know what I'm saying? I'm riding with Jacob Blake, you know what I'm saying? Cortez Rice, Bianca, Auntie Breonna Taylor. When I get there, I'm on a pivot. Okay, I need to know where I'm pulling in at. What, you know what I'm saying? What type of politics is here? You know what I'm saying? Because it's supposed to say, on one hand, it's supposed to say, well, there's a lot of black people out here. I have to be armed with something a little more sterner than that. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about where's the political conscience. We can have a whole bunch of black people, but the deal is, like Minister Upinu said, some people had a lot of guns. Minister Upinu said we must even politicize the gun. to be able to do, you talking about us, like the music. That's a tactic that the system does. They elevate certain people. Say, well, we got a lot of black people in position here, and you start calling. You say, well, damn, these motherfuckers don't know shit. So and you talking about they disconnected from the black community. We talking about this Indiana. So the building that the housing that you have down there? What are you planning on going down there some stage in the game or go visit this house that you have? If I'm prying, let me know. I'm just curious. What do you like? What's your plans with this? You might have huh?
You are crying. I wasn't gonna get into all my plans and all of that.
I'm prying. Okay.
Plans out there like that. That's what opens.
Okay. I got you. I won't disturb your American dream. I won't disturb your American dream.
There are opportunities. Now, to your point, brother, the lone sheep are out there, is subject to the wolves, but many hands make light work, even of wolves, That's why we need to organize, brother.
And not to my point, to the objective word I got to is not only wolves and sheep out there, it's pigs out there. I'm dealing with the jungle. Like sister told me the other day, I'm acknowledging. See, a lot of people talk, when I talk about, I'm taking into account, I want to lay this out, but I have to keep in mind that there is a counterinsurgency. That this, again, and theoretically, like, let's go to Chicago, for example. I won't pry to your this thing you have going on. In Chicago, technically on face value, Mayor Rahm Emanuel. You familiar with, you ever heard of him?
Former mayor. Yeah.
Former mayor, Rahm Emanuel. He's the brother of Ari Emanuel, the one who just called for the shutdown on Kanye West. That's one of his brothers. Now, there's a program. Yes, there's a program that was put out to people about you can get these vacant lots for $1. You can Google it. For $1. Now, are you familiar with that part, right? I'm sure. What else are you familiar with about that program?
Yeah.
What else are you familiar with about that program?
You gotta live on. In order to purchase a lot for $1, you have to already own a property that's on that same city block.
Yes. What else?
To my understanding.
That's you correct. What else?
Ooh, I think that's about the extent of my knowledge.
That's just your knowledge. Okay. So once you go down there and you fill out all your forms, you give up all your information, so on and so forth, then the pig's teeth are shown. Once you're in his mouth, your previous parking tickets that you had, you follow what I'm saying? All these type of, excuse me? After you submit, all this is after you submitted all your information. And remind you, not only is the Black Panther Party position is the information is raw material for new ideas, the state does that also. Information. Like a lot of people think cell phones are just free, but they get information. So once after all your information is submitted, that's when the different dynamics come out. You follow what I'm saying? About, okay, wait a minute. Previous parking tickets, so on and so forth. You follow what I'm saying? And it opens the door for them to make develop other aspects of your life. Or as you said, prying. But once it's kind of like in court. When they ask the person, okay, now, if you take the stand, it opens the door for the state to come at you from questions. You follow what I'm saying? They say that if you don't take the stand, the state can't move. Once they get you follow what I'm saying? Once you involved in a process, you know what I'm saying? It opens the door for the state to make moves on you, the co-signee, all these different dynamics that's not advertised. It's like it's like the cigarette commercials to be. You on TV say this is beautiful, it's a relief. You see the lady, she's blowing a cigarette. Then the Surgeon General's one is in the small print. You follow what I'm saying? These are so all I'm saying. I'm laying out an objective analysis. To say, wait a minute, let's do a historical account. Who we dealing with? Or is it native community, indigenous community would say white man speaks with a forked tongue. You know what I'm saying? To take into account, we dealing with an entity that has broke treaty after treaty. We dealing with an entity That, you know what I'm saying, that have ripped our grandparents off from, you know what I'm saying, doing sharecropping, convict leasing. So to come in to, you know what I'm saying, to even present some sort of simplistic, non-nefarious way, all we got to do is woo out the bam. Is a discredit to the history of this country, to the history of what it does to us, as opposed to, listen here, this we can do, but you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, but in an objective way. So, you know what I'm saying? I want to come into a relationship saying all we got to do is come together. A woman going to say, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? Well, all it takes is I love you, you love me. We good to go. Well, hold on. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? What about this? What about that? Not saying we can't challenge it, but to be upfront and say, wait a minute, let's take into account what's your past relationships like? What's okay, let me now I got a history, but you know what I'm saying? But let me see, at least acknowledge this so we coming through the door eyes wide open. As opposed to someone, in many cases, like before I was taken to Stateville prison, there was these guys who I referred to as used body salesmen. They were the individuals who would sell to children, upcoming generations, how beautiful it was in prison. You'll see the pictures of them with the jewelry. You follow what I'm saying? You'll see all these different dynamics to the point that some people was trying to go to Stateville prison. Then when you got there, you seen the underbelly of what was going on in this system. They was already captured. Similar to, you know what I'm saying, during era of chattel slavery, they had a certain particular slave at the front gate. But you said, wait a minute, you know, man, yeah, master do this and that, you know what I'm saying? And then once, you know, as opposed to, man, I told the sister yesterday, I say, I'm enslaved, I'm not a slave. In many cases, people who've been inside the sausage factory, let's go with that term, when it strikes them individually, they say, wait a minute, we have a problem now. You know what I'm saying? I come to contact, you know what I'm saying, like on the outside looking in. I go, you know what I'm saying, people, it's different groups, you know what I'm saying, dress up. You say, oh, that's the Black Panther. And outside looks real good. And you bait people in, and then later on, some lady called me, well, I gave, you know what I'm saying, money to this, but the writing was on the wall. We have a system that is historically the MO of and when we get to a point that automatically we should come in conscious of who we dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And also, whatever concessions they give, again, what Frantz Fanon said, to be able to accept the concession without compromising our principles. We live and direct on Freedom Radio on Spirit of Making History, Taking History, and Taping History, man. I write on, we encourage you to call in again to brothers. You know what I'm saying? We say, man, information is raw material for new ideas. But again, we welcome that, we encourage that. But let's don't forget that fine print. Making History, okay, we live and direct on Freedom Radio, 929-477-3785. Press 1 to get in. That's what it is, so you're right. We getting a call in. I want to cut you off. You're not muted, you're not calling. Are you good on your call, brother? I'll be in Oakland soon, brother. Bring our next call in, please. Free him on.
I can't wait to meet you.
That kind of explains things to me now that your call. I just took for granted you was in Oakland. You already met me before. Okay. Now I feel a lot better. You haven't met me before. Now, okay, right on. That's okay.
I said I can't wait to meet you. I missed you. I missed you when you was out for the presentation.
That explains. I was a little confused at first, even with your call. You haven't met me before. You haven't met me before. Okay, I was a little confused at first. You say, I took Oakland, I be up there a lot of times more than I be, you know what I'm saying, in Chicago. I took for granted you met me, but I should have known you haven't met me before. I look forward to meeting you as well, brother.
Yeah. We talked on the phone,
We
though.
know. Yeah, a lot of people, yeah. You're not familiar with me, brother. Okay, who connected us on the phone? Who did? Who?
David.
Oh, okay, right on, brother, right on. Okay, Well, I look forward. Okay, I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back to the other mother country before this month, late this month or beginning of December. Yeah, no doubt. Right on. I look forward to meeting you as well, brother. Okay, it makes a lot of sense. Right on.
Break bread, brother.
Free them all. Yes, sir. Free them all. Brian, let's call in, please. Right on. Free them all.
Grandma Terminal, we have caller area code 901-497.
Free them all. Welcome to Free them all radio.
Greetings to you, comrades.
Greetings right back at you, man. Welcome to Free them all radio. How you feel? Talk to us.
Greetings.
Who we have?
Our brother, great brother, it's Chief Eagle Eye, Minister of Defense.
Okay, welcome to Free them all radio.
This evening, brother.
You live and direct.
Me from being from the old school, my bro, and I've been listening to a lot of people lately. It's been a long time. It's 60 years that we still going through the same routines, my brother. And I understand the situations that the young and the ideas that the young are bringing. But I believe that the situation that we all are encountering is a lot more complicated and confusing to a lot of people because we got too many people claiming different entities. I think the key factor that's within us, and I know that it's just because, see, I hear you say, Fred, all the time, all we got to do is unite. I just heard the young brother say the same thing. But I've been on so many phone calls, brother, and it don't make sense to me that the older people in my family are not uniting like they should. If we paid attention to Kyrie the other day when he talked to the millennials, it's not that hard. And I'm just glad to see that brother stood up to say what he did that gave the purpose to that millennial group. Because that has not happened in a long time. No one has given the age group a purpose. This man, out of the generation, I'm born in the 60s, right at the end. So I was born out of that. Where my mama was watching all that stuff go on. The same way y'all mothers, birth thing that's going on right now. And then to see everybody wake up after the 70s and then go back to sleep after the 90s. And then we already in 2020 and we still got the same house Negroes promoting the same thing in our same state as if we're not here. As if our children want to suffer some more. See, I'm really hoping that this message tonight, Fred, that's why I called in, bro, because I know we're on a point now here to the movement. But all these entertainers, bro, over with for us testament. If they not speaking like Kyrie speaking, we don't even need to even support him no more. Unless we just want our kids to be slaves again. You know, Dick Gregory mentioned this, and that's the only person that I let slide. That was an entertainer back then. I let the minister slide because he was an entertainer also. But see, everybody's not built like that. And a lot of people just do things for life. Class. They want to have this title as being somebody. But ain't none of us giving no solution on freedom. Because when we say let's get together, everybody got an excuse. So then it falls on me and you. because the ones around us are not afraid, brothers. I mean, not afraid. They cowards. Yeah, they're not afraid. They're cowards, bro. Straight up. Around 54 years old. Them are cowards, bro. The generation in between mine and the generation in between the millennials are some of the worst Negroes we got. They don't care about nobody. They're not uplifting themselves. But y'all know I ain't blaming that on them, right? Because them mamas and daddies that was my age never talked about shit. And I'm putting it out there. Notice that the people that are in my age group are smoking cigars. They follow Steve Harvey and that group of people. They're unhealthy. Ain't none of them trying to get healthy. They're not detoxing. I've been on so many calls and asked so many so-called leaders why they never said nothing about Dr. Fabius and Crummy. Now the brother is gone, and they still hide that he was curing everybody.
For our listeners, excuse me, bro. Just for our listeners, okay. Some people are just tuning in. Let us know where you from again, and your name and who you are again. Some people just tuning in. What location you from, and who you are again?
I am Chief Eagle Eye, Principal Chief of the Coosa Nation of North America. I'm also the Chief of Operations for Coosa Nation North America. I'm also Minister of Defense of 21st Century Black Panthers. That's my title that they gave. I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
I try to put in some work.
Who put you?
Put in some work. Like you say, boots on the ground, people recognize who I was. I've been around here for a long time. Me and Rico became good friends.
Who you see Rico?
We were calling all these people. Huey's Newton's son.
Oh, okay.
Rico Dukes. And we talk all the time about this, the same situation, bro. And I hope that me and you can get together and have a little bit more conversation about it too, because they not wasting no time on us. I can hear what the young brother was saying in the back end. He don't like to give us this. Bro, they've been knowing your location. I'm going to put it to you like that, young brother. They've been knowing your location. If you think you conscious, they've been knowing your location. They already took your blood sample and they know what your family think like. That's how complicated they be. So don't think you're going to hide. Ain't no hiding. I hear people say that all the time. Man, I ain't gonna say nothing. Man, I don't need to be in the front. But you better believe you're going to freedom. You're going to be somewhere. Ain't no hiding for freedom, y'all. Dr. Saban did everything he could to hide from the pharmaceutical companies before they killed him. Before they paid off somebody in his family to kill him. Yeah, I put it out there because I know. I'm a natural herbalist also. And I'm friends with one of his nieces. Tell Herbs and Memphis, Tennessee. On 3rd Street where the original herb place is. The thing else is shut down. They're not selling real herbs in Los Angeles. Don't play with me. We still cure people out here. Worst stage cancer, 8. We didn't even fade COVID out here. Not us, not me. I wasn't wearing no mask. You wasn't gonna catch me with one on because wasn't nobody gonna say I was part of that crew that was lost. It wasn't about me arguing with somebody. It's about showing that I'm not lost. And I'm not gonna let them poison me. I just said I'm an herbalist and I'm gonna cover up my face.
with something that's gonna clog up my exhaust system. Dr. Sabi was here for a reason, and all of those leaders never said nothing about him because he wasn't religious. So they only talk about the religious ones. What about the natural ones? They not special? We all don't have a purpose? Then they killed Dr. Sabi's sister that same week. How many people knew that? And then the goons came in her house. 3, 4 of them came through one window and she went out the back window. White Negroes run around want to do documentaries and still trying to kill certain family members. It's not a joke out here, y'all. I said every day. I talk to her every day. We keep protection on ours. Y'all know what I mean? Because that's how important they were. And I'm trying to convince Dr. Sabi of this. A lot of people try to convince Dr. Sabi, man, to keep somebody with him all the time. But Dr. Sabi was just so free and loving. That's why you never heard him say nothing about nobody, no religions or nothing nobody was doing wrong. He didn't care. He had a purpose to put in work. And when he went in the courts, he put in work. The same way I met Rico. And I went in there and put in some work. The same way I took on my indigenous self and took on international law and went in there and put in some work, y'all. See, yeah, I guess to put us in it, some of the paperwork don't get us free. And if the paperwork don't get us free, you know what the hell we coming with next. I ain't gotta say it. And I ain't scared to say it. They already know where I'm at. When Illuminati send you them pictures and they ask you to come and join, they know who you are. But if they show up, I'm gonna show up. Bro, I'm not with it. I'm with my grandchildren being free. I'm with your grandchildren being free. I'm with everybody else's grandchildren being free. That's what's getting ready to happen. And all these cats out here that don't want to get together truly are our enemies. Because we don't have playtime. And then really we don't have to get together. All of us, what are they doing in their groups to save their people? So let them do what they're doing. Let their people be lost if that's what they want to do. Follow people because we lead right now. So the example is, make sure you got some land. Make sure you got some water. Make sure you got some shelter. Make sure you locked and loaded for revolution. Civil revolution. Because then when the white folks ran up in that building, that was civil war. Just like they in war in Ukraine right now. What, y'all think it ain't going on? So the hype, what is it at orange right now? Really? It ain't never changed since 95 and Dr. Collins is reading it out to everybody, something of that book from from William Cooper's book, where they are on the left against us. We didn't pay no attention. Boy, y'all just don't know what's gonna come. Because somebody paid attention to everybody. Paid attention to the minister, Steve Coakley, Fred Hampton, Dr. Clark. Somebody paid attention to safety. Everybody gave honor to him. Because we don't disregard nobody.
We're gonna jump in. We're gonna jump in on you, brother. Give us some contact for people. You again, just I see a few people. You want to give out your contact, or people can get in touch with your respective organization or whatever. Because I think we also you said where you was at, But we gonna be touching. We got some callers calling in now. I believe in Gulfport, Mississippi. I don't know if that father is from you. I think you say you're from the South, down Tennessee, I believe. We're gonna be talking about the case of Jaheim McMillan too. So you stay. Okay, so we about to talk about we about to get some updates on that before we close out. So we're gonna let you close out. Give us any call close information again. Your respect, your organization or who you are, your social media contact. You're free to provide that also.
I can be reached through the True Federal Government of America. I can be reached through Inclusive Nation of North America. You can reach me at 901-497-8304. Y'all know that's the 901. That's Memphis.
Okay, Memphis. Okay, yes indeed. All right, well, okay, we live and direct on Freedom on Radio. I think we got some more callers calling in about the case of Jaheim McMillan. What's the status on that? Who is Jaheim McMillan? Why are people saying fuck Family Dollar down there? What's the update? What's the status? Y'all come on in, calling the Cub in with us live and direct. What's your thoughts and ideas on that? And we just came from down there. Also, just touched on Alabama, the case of I hope Sister Tina's called in. Tina called in, which is his son's case in Alabama. Forgive me. Tina, if you want to call, tap in with us with your son's name in Alabama. This is a young brother who's locked up, 15 years old. Give him a life sentence, but we work on his case. So Tina, if you listening, call. Make sure you call us to get some updates on his respective case. Yeah. Sister Comrade, got other callers in queue?
We have callers from area code 214-334.
Okay, I think we can squeeze two more callers in. We moving and grooving. Welcome to Freedom on Radio.
Hey, how you doing, Fred?
Who we get? Welcome to Freedom on Radio. Who we got? And where you from? Yeah, I hear you loud and direct. Welcome to Freedom on Radio. Hosted by Chairman Fred Hunter Jr. and Robin Allen, aka Lady Rage. Welcome to Freedom on Radio.
How you doing, for all you listeners? My name is Rico Dukes. I'm the son of Dr. U.P. Newton. I'm the leader of the 21st Century Black Panthers, or RCHPN. I'm the CEO and founder of the New American Federal Government. They feel true Federal Government of America. DUNS number 118-692-752. And I just want to touch in on a couple of topics today that I heard on your show today. And I'm going to start out with the first one, is the revolution movement and organizations. The reason why it's so hard for the Unite, because the 1966 Black Panthers that was founded by my pop and co-founded Bobby Seale, it was for economic gain, black power, meaning for us to have our own government, our own hospitals, our own schools, our own daycares, our own transportation, our own ambulance, our own nation. Today, all we have is a lot of podcasts going around toting guns, and that's not an economic system. That's not what the Black Panther stood for. Second of all, in regards to that right there, how can we come together so strong, so many organizations are fused about the son of U.P. Newton? All the way from see, it goes deeper all the way to COINTELPRO. It goes very, very deep. It goes very deep. So it's going to be hard for us to structure and reconvert the younger generation mind when it's still so much hostility that was left in the old generation of the Black Panthers that's spewed over into the new generation. So the new generation already didn't have no control in order to be able to form a real revolution like the original Black Panthers of Oakland, California. We have to address certain things, and we have to put certain things out in the open. We have to let the world know that my pop and Bobby Seale wasn't cool when my pop got killed. We have to let the world know that my pop had Bobby Seale severely beaten, then left him to go to Philadelphia with his wife's family. We have to clear up the fact that Bobby Seale was the only one that knew who I was, where I was, and what family was raising me. We
have to clear up the fact that Frederica Newton is fully aware of me. We have to clear up the fact that Frederica niece Rachel is fully aware of me. We have to clear up the fact that my cousin, my pop's nephew, David Newton, is fully aware of me, talks to me all the time. So if my pop was the founder of the Black Panthers that stood for the people of the poverty and minority communities,
Oh. Yeah, close it. Okay, come on. They just gave us about. They just told we got 60 more seconds, brother. I got to get this other call in also.
Am I muted?
No, you're not muted. We got about 10 more seconds. I got 2 more callers.
Oh yes, and I want to talk. I want to go on to another topic right here.
We got to go. We got 2 more callers. We on 60 seconds, brother.
Yeah, only way for us to be independent, we have to have resources. How
Okay.
can we become an independent nation when we don't have no gas, no oil, no
Okay.
water, no land,
Oh.
no hospital, no grocery store? This is how the oppressors keep us oppressed.
We left. Oh,
Leaders of the so-called leaders of the day, we stand up and do that.
all right.
We got to give the people something so they can be dependent.
We live and direct on Freedom On Radio. Y'all give me the last call. If they can get in. If that last call don't make it in, call in next week. If she can squeeze them in. Live and direct 929-477-3785. If you did not make it, call in next week. We live and direct 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Are we still on? Damn.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Fremont, did the other caller get their comment in? Fremont.
Caller queue, press 1 to speak.
Gotta do it quick.
I think that's our time, Chairman.
Okay.
Hold on, Jim. I got one coming in.
Y'all, we 6:30 p.m. Central Time every Wednesday. Y'all call in to 929-477-3785. Press 1. What happened? Hello? Okay, you're free them all. Take us on out, Sister Comrade. Madiba, give me real quick.
MadibaMag.com.
Okay.
MADIBA mag, MAG.com. Madiba Magazine.
Okay. Live and direct, y'all. Get y'all orders in. Take us, Sister Comrade. Freedom Already on Live and Direct. Make history, taking history, y'all. 929-477-3785. Take us out, Sister Comrade. Take us out.
Good stuff. Yeah, good stuff.